the number one thing that is different between the 100K per day ad account versus the 100K per month ad account is angle diversification. Now, this is the number one takeaway that I want you to have as a result of watching this video. So I'm just going to give it to you right up front. You need to have multiple angles running in your ad account and multiple angles running for your product if you want to get to the type of scale where you could spend $100,000 a day. Now, just so we're talking about the same thing here, I define angle as the reason why someone would buy your product, or again, what's essentially in it for the customer. But if you look at your brand and your product and you can't think of multiple angles around why somebody would actually buy the product, like there isn't something that's actually in it for them, and more importantly, they actually believe you, then you're going to struggle to get to this kind of scale. Because truthfully, there obviously are brands that can have a single angle that scales really far. But when I look at the majority of ad accounts that are spending $1 million plus a month, most of them have multiple angles, okay? They're not just tied to just one angle specifically. And in the ad account that is spending over $100,000 a day, this one right here, just looking at the top 5 to 10 ads, there are actually multiple angles here that we are targeting. Whereas when I go back to the 100K per month ad account, this only has one main angle that is actually working. And again, that is why they're not really able to scale much further. Now, I want to be clear that if you are in a position where you're spending less than 100K per month, or you're spending 100K per month right now, you don't want to come in and just start spam testing a bunch of angles and being like, oh, Spencer told me I need more angles at scale, so I need to test a lot more. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is you need to find a way to crack an angle, keep that angle cracked, so keep that angle at scale, and then begin to crack other angles, which again, just simply means finding another reason why somebody else would buy your product and then scaling that angle up as well. So what I want you to take away from this is not to go and be like, I need 5 angles or I need 10 angles, is to, number one, crack an angle first and scale it as far as you can. And again, that'll be different for everyone based off of TAM and based off of just the angle in general. But then from there, once you have one angle and you feel like you've really exhausted it or maxed it out and you can't really scale it further, then begin to look at your next angle. And this is why it's so important to really break down and understand your brand and understand your product. And more importantly, really understand your market and the people who are there, right? Because in every single market, there are a bunch of different avatars. And inside of Origins and Evolve, we have massive avatar training that talks about how we go and find those people. But to give you the TLDR of it, you have to go through and understand, like, what are their desires? What experiences have they been through? What are their emotions? What are their behaviors? You need to go deep to understand these people and their psychographics, not their demographics. Now, with that said, demographics are a very real thing and you can segment avatars based off of that. But my point is that you need to go and look at the people first to understand what they want. And then once you know what they want, then you can look at your product and figure out if you can actually serve that thing that they need. Now, if your product can't serve the thing that they need, then you can't run that as an angle. But if you look at your product and you actually can help those people, then guess what? You've got a great angle, and then you can start to test that. And again, we talk a lot about urgency and intensity of desires, because desires are like the number one thing that makes people actually buy. So if you want to find a really good angle, it is a more urgent desire that someone wants filled. But at the end of the day, there are people out there who are underserved and have problems, and you can help them with your product. But again, you can't spread yourself too thin in the beginning and try to attack all of these different angles. What I would highly recommend that you do is, number one, focus on cracking one angle first, and then move on from there to try to see if you can stack angles and have multiple angles running inside of your ad account. So that way you can actually get to more scale because you're simply just serving more people. I hope all of that makes sense.